Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Office Bloke Aidan.
Okay Aidan, we're doing our tour around the stadiums of the USA.
Back at it.
Yeah, so we've done MLB stadiums, we've done NBA, we've done college, we've done
high school.
High schools, we've done ones that have been knocked down and rebuilt.
Yeah. We've done weird ones.
Weird ones, yes. Yeah. It's there are some weird ones as well.
There are some weird
great
ones.
stadiums though. I love stadiums.
How many stadiums are there in this?
Wow. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even like to guess.
No.
But I'm guessing he's well over a few hundred. Yeah.
Oh mate.
Yeah.
Well over.
Anyway, this is college stadiums that have hosted the Super Bowl.
That's interesting. I would never have thought I never would have thought that they would have, to be honest.
No, me neither. I think it's, over here, it's kind of like, I assume college football and NFL are very two segregated sports, apart from the draft when it goes from college to the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like over here with football and rugby. No rugby games are really held at football stadiums and no football games are held at rugby stadiums.
Yeah.
We had a time when Wembley was demolished and being rebuilt, and rather than have it at Twickenham, which is also in London area, they said, no, you're not playing football in our rugby stadium. Move it, and we had to go to Wales and play at Cardiff. In the Millennium Stadium, whatever it's called, Cardiff Arms Park. At the
That
time.
did hold a Champions League final. That's pretty big.
Wales. Yeah, it's a big stadium, yeah. But they could have chose to
Isn't that for rugby as well?
It is, yeah. But it's
Welsh.
But that's Welsh, yeah. I'm talking about England, the English rugby. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not sure how many people. I think did we see one that shared a stadium? Was it? I want to say somewhere like Minnesota or somewhere. Did they share a stadium?
College and the NFL.
Yeah.
Really?
I want to say. Let me know in the comments. I thought I saw one last week where it said they shared, and they played the college games there and they played the NFL there. But I don't want to say it was Minnesota, but I might be wrong with that. But anyway, this is college stadiums that have hosted the Super Bowl. I've never even heard of this, but let's go.
These days, the Super Bowl usually takes place in either the newest, most technologically advanced stadiums in the world, or just Florida, or the Superdome. Back in the day, however, that wasn't the case.
Where was the Super Bowl this year? It was in
Denver.
You sure? I thought it was in Arizona.
Arizona, sorry,
Phoenix.
yeah.
But whose
Glendale
stadium was it?
Glendale, Arizona. It'd be the Arizona.
The Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah.
All of the stadiums you'll see in this video are older than the Super Bowl itself, and are still going strong today, hosting college football. To be clear, I'm not going to be including NFL stadiums that are shared by a college team, just the fully fledged college stadiums. So here are the current college football stadiums that have hosted the Super Bowl. We'll start off with the host of the first ever Super Bowl in 1967, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, home to the USC Trojans. The stadium is 100 years old this year, and in those 100 years it's achieved a lot, including hosting the Olympics twice.
Didn't the Rams play there?
Yeah, that's what they said before. I was getting confused there. It was like Los Angeles, because I was thinking that was South Carolina, but I'm guessing it's Southern California.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said that we watched a video and they said they played baseball here and everything, and this is where the Olympics was, right?
Yeah, twice.
Despite renovations in recent years that have made some significant changes, especially to the southern side of the ground, it has stayed surprisingly true to its original design, considering it has been 100 years. Some parts of the stadium are actually protected from demolition, and I can see why. This end in particular is quite remarkable. In 1967, Green Bay beat Kansas City 35-10, and it went on to host it once more in 1973, where Miami beat Washington 14-7. Rice Stadium, Rice Owls. This stadium hosted just the one Super Bowl in 1974, where Miami beat Minnesota 24-7. 24/7, that has a certain ring to it. Perhaps we could start using it as shorthand for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because we haven't got time to be saying that full sentence, we've just got to keep moving. The most momentous event that occurred here actually has nothing to do with sport. It was the site of the famous JFK moon speech, where he said something like, we choose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because we want to see if it really is made of cheese, as depicted in Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
I am paraphrasing there, of course. Unlike the last one, the end zone seating clearly didn't have any historical significance, because they got rid of it at one end and replaced it with this performance center. Other than that though, it's not a million miles away from its 1974 design.
Big stadium.
Rose Bowl, UCLA Bruins. While the other two may have changed very little, but this simple bowl stadium is older than both of them and has changed even less. In fact, if we switch to black and white, it's like you're back in the early days of the stadium's life. You can even feel the polio in the air. and the secondhand smoke. Before it even hosted the Super Bowl, it was one of the most famous stadiums in the country, partially due to it hosting the Rose Bowl game. Hosting 5 Super Bowls only added to its notoriety.
Say Ohio.
That might have been like a state cup.
Because it says someone else over there.
Yeah. So that might be the college bowl or whatever. Don't know what they play for, but the college title. But I like that.
Is that where they're saying the UCLA play now?
UCLA.
Or did it played at the time?
Looks old, doesn't it? I don't know what maybe they've modernised it, but I like that whole one level all the way around once here.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, the atmosphere in there will be good.
Yeah.
In 1977, the Raiders beat Minnesota 32-14. In 1980, Pittsburgh beat the Rams 31-19. In 1983, Washington beat Miami 27-17. In 1987, the Giants beat them. In 1993, Dallas smashed Buffalo 52-17. And that was all she wrote. Stanford Stadium, Stanford Cardinal. This one is a bit different from the rest in that the stadium's been almost entirely rebuilt since its Super Bowl days. But it still counts as the same stadium. As you can see, back then it was an unconventional... I don't know. It's not a complete bowl, but it's not really a horseshoe layout either. It also had a track around the field. As you can see, it looks completely different nowadays. It's a double-tiered rectangular stadium.
Look, it looks like a English football stadium. If you put a roof on it, either side, over there and over there, it would look like a lot like an English football stadium.
Well, we have to have roofs on the stadium over there because of the weather.
Yeah,
otherwise all the fans would get wet.
Yeah.
The seating is much closer to the field, so it's certainly better suited for football. It also just looks a whole lot better in my opinion. In its one and only Super Bowl, 1985, it was fittingly a Californian team that won. San Francisco beat Miami 38-16. This has been a very California-heavy video. Sun Devil Stadium, Arizona Sun Devils. It took until Super Bowl 30 for the event to make its way to Arizona, and it's been back a couple of times since. But this venue hosted it just once. That was the 96 Super Bowl. Cowboys 27, Steelers 17. The design has changed a little bit since then. As you can see, there used to be an upper deck that stretched its way around 3 sides of the field. There's only an upper deck along the sidelines now, so it is smaller, but it has no doubt improved since those days, as you'd expect. The stadium's best feature has been there since the start, however, and that is the location. The way it has been carved into the Rocky Hills is pretty spectacular, but not unique in college football. Oddly enough, this place is called the Sun Bowl. Sun and rocks go together, I guess? So, there you have it. I wonder if these stadiums will outlast the Super Bowl itself. Perhaps...
Do you reckon we'll see any more again in the future?
Being used. I'm wondering why they were used, because the only thing I can process in my mind, and let us know in the comments as well, you know better than we do, is the attendance value.
Yeah.
So with college, what we found now is college football holds a lot more than what NFL stadiums hold. And I think it's to do with probably the bench seating sort of style, where you can get more on where you individual seats.
Yeah, you probably couldn't have that in the Super Bowl. It would have to be seats, I reckon. Nowadays,
yeah, I think you would. Yeah, I think you're right. But I think if these people, we watched some future stadiums, didn't we, being done, and I think some of them, if they're going to hold 100,000 seats, and it is all seated rather than bench seating, then you could be looking at maybe a hosting in the future.
How do you decide to host a Super Bowl? Is it just
I've seen a video on it, and it's it kind of goes to plays a lot with the weather, the hotel industry, accommodating people who come in to visit, to go to the game, infrastructure around the roads and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think the weather plays a lot into it, and attendance as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what it can hold, but I think next year's is in Las Vegas.
Is it?
Yeah, Las Vegas next year, and then the year after that, I think New Orleans. So I'm probably targeting the New Orleans one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty. I mean, nothing wrong with Las Vegas, just not for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I'd definitely be interested in the New Orleans one. So if you've got
The
tickets,
Saints play, probably,
so if you've got tickets for the Super Bowl and you want me to come down and accompany you, just let me know.
I'm sure that's what they'll ask.
I put on
for your company, mate.
I put on Facebook for the last Super Bowl, the day of the Super Bowl. We were playing Aston Villa at home. City, and I put on, does anyone want to swap 3 Aston Villa tickets for 2 Super Bowl tickets? I have the Aston Villa tickets. Yeah, I got no one bit.
No one, sure.
Yeah, surprised.
You wouldn't
well
have thought,
surprised.
would you?
I know, I thought they'd be all over that.
Yeah,
I thought people were
time.
like, yeah, I would have included airfare as well. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments what you think, and if a college team, or college stadium, would host a future Super Bowl.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
Because you could hold so many more people.
I know, but I think it's the setup that's the problem.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyway.
And also, if you're talking about like roads around it and infrastructure and hotels, they're normally in the middle of nowhere, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, so you'd have to travel to get to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.